Hey everyone. You know, I don't know if my social skills would have improved, stayed the same, or gotten worse if I were still around people on a daily basis and I knew about my autism like years ago. So I've talked about this dude that lives across the street from us. Um, that like over the years I flip-flopped between, is he narcissistic, is he just full of himself, and then like recently, like, is he maybe autistic, because this dude is all about, like, I don't know, he's just very specific about things. And I've concluded today that he's got to be autistic. So like I get home from the grocery store, which by the way, I now have to take an anti-nausea pill every fucking time before I leave the house to go to the grocery store, because otherwise, on the way home, I'm going to feel like I need to barf, and then that's going to be unpleasant. And then I get home and then I have to barf. And you know what? So I am at this point in my life where, I have to take a fucking pill just to go to the grocery store. So that's great. And it's not even like an anxiety pill, it's so I don't throw up. But, anyways, so I was like talking myself up to like go into the grocery store ever since yesterday, because I was supposed to go yesterday. And the reason, I know this is just a whole bunch of detail nobody probably wants, but just in case, but like not doing Instacart because sometimes, like, I don't know. I think like sometimes I think that the people, some Instacart shoppers, I'm pretty sure just say that things are out when they're not really. I mean, I'm not saying they all do that. They obviously don't, but like I like to go in the middle of the week if possible, because like I know that like the shit's going to be where I need it to be. And I don't know how else to explain that. That probably didn't even come out the way I wanted it to come out. What was I was trying to say? This is just, you know what? I can't start this over because then I'm going to play the let me try to record 20 different times until I sound like a human. Basically, I don't trust Instacart shoppers during the week because that's when all the shit is like filled up in the grocery stores. Everybody's at work. It's not like people are like lining up to go shopping. And so, like, if somebody says they can't find something at the grocery store during the week, I'm always highly suspicious. One time I did, in fact, go to the store, like within 2 hours, three tops, after this person said they couldn't find something. This was like a long time ago. Last week. Just kidding. No, it was a long, long time ago. And I don't even fucking remember what it was. I cookies or some, I don't remember, but like I remember it was there, and I must have had a bug up my ass, because like looking back, like why the hell would I go do something like that? What a waste of gas and just mental energy. But anyways, I try to go myself during the week, and plus like I know I need to get out of the house. So anyways, all of that to just say it was not a bad grocery store experience. I got everything that I wanted. And then I'm like coming home. And by the way, this is probably gonna be full of tangents. School's back in session. And when you go through a school zone, you have to slow it down, like real slow. Like, what is it in the state? Like 15, 20 miles an hour, depending on the size of the school population or whatever. And I'm wondering, does like, I've always felt this way. Maybe I've even said it before, but when you slow down as you're approaching like a school, do you ever feel like a creeper, or is it just me? Because I know that you have to do it to not hit kids, even though I used to assign a point value to them, but I don't do that anymore because I'm an adult, even though I was an adult when I did that. Um, but like I know you have to slow down. I know why, and I agree it's very important that I do it. I just can't help but like every time I do it, if I'm the one driving, I start feeling like a creeper. Like, and then I look around like, where's the kitties? Like, is it just me? Like, I know I'm not a creeper, but like there's people that creep around schools. I don't know. I shouldn't have said that. Anyways, my point, this is a long way of getting there. So like I get home pretty proud of myself. I don't feel queasy because, I took my med. And I'm like, look at me. I rewarded myself with some Celsius, some sushi, and I'm getting out of my car and I'm starting to empty my trunk. And like, we have some steps to get up to our porch, but there's like a ledge and there's things that like are not heavy enough for me to lift that I set on the ledge so I don't have to make all these trips up and down the stairs. So like I had just put one thing up on that ledge and then the guy across the street, Rich, he comes over and he's like said something and I don't know. He's like, "Oh, you need some help?" And I'm like, "No, that's okay." Because I don't like when like the neighbors help because then they get to see stuff that like we buy and I don't know. Like I'm a very private person. And like it's like he could read my mind because he's putting like a case of Fruit 2O water up on the ledge. He's like, "Ha ha, now the whole neighborhood can see what you guys drink." And I was like, "Okay, great." Yep. And then so there was like quite a few of those, and then we were getting to like where the groceries were, and then I'm like, he is not going to see what we eat. So he's like, "Is there anything else?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I got these other things. They're okay." And it was just very awkward. I did not want the help. I even said no thank you, but he helped anyways. And then like I go back inside and then I don't know, I should have just left it alone because it wasn't bad when he left. I said, "Thank you. That was very nice of you." I said, "I would tip you, but I don't carry cash." I meant that as a joke. He took me seriously. He's like, "Oh my gosh, no." And I'm like, "Oh my God, dude. I wasn't serious, but I'm not even going to try to explain that right now." And so he left, and I was like, "Okay, that wasn't like too terrible." And then, so like, I'm coming out of the house to like bring in like the last of the water, and I see him coming back down his driveway. I don't know why I did this, but I grabbed Phil, the little baby, and I brought him out. I'm like, "Have you seen Phil yet?" Because I know his wife has. And I thought it was like kind of the thing that people who doesn't like kittens. And I bring him over. I'm like, "You want to hold him?" "Oh no." Like I was just cleaning the grill. His hands didn't look that dirty. And I was like, "Well, he doesn't bite." He's like, "Oh, it's okay." And then I was like, "Okay." And then I just told him, like, it was just regular for me. I mean, I didn't even think twice. I was like, "Yeah, I had my cat that was like my best friend of 15 years, died back in April. And this is like the first cat we've gotten since then." And he's like filling in this hole. Talk about oversharing because I didn't talk that much. I didn't say that much. But then I got done and the dude just stared at me. I'm like, this is the time when like you're supposed to say something back. Like you can't even say sorry your cat died. Like I wasn't looking for that, but do you know what I mean? And then so I was like, well, what the fuck do I do now? So I just was like, so how are your dogs doing? Oh my God, it was so bad. And then he said some stuff, and then I was like, okay, bye. He's like, bye, have a good weekend. I was like, you too, stay off the news. As a joke, stay off the news. And so then I bring Phil inside, and then I go back out to get the last thing that I had to get. And Rich is still out there, and he's like cracking up. He's like, "Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. I'm going to start using that. Can I give you royalties?" And I was like, "Sure." My God, this was so awkward. And you know what, guys? Like, we've lived across from these people for many, many, many years. Many years. Oh, I would love to know in his mind how he thought that went. Maybe he's not even thinking about it anymore and it's just me. But like, this is why I don't like to talk to people because like, I thought I was doing good. I was like, look at me. I brought my cat out. I initiated something social and like nothing. And then, because I don't know what I was thinking. I ain't doing that anymore. This is why I wait until Alicia comes home before I go out and try to talk to neighbors because I need her as like backup or something. I don't know. But anyways, in case anybody was wondering who I think is autistic this week. Gretchen Whitmore, the governor of Michigan in America. Ugh. Gretchen Whitmore. I'm sorry, I know there's a bunch of you that aren't even in this country. There's probably a bunch of you that are in this country, the United States, and you're like, this bitch is always talking about politics, but like, I'm not. I really think Gretchen Whitmore is autistic. I just got done listening to her audiobook, and the stuff that she does, and she calls herself weird, like, that bitch is autistic. I knew I liked her. And then I am for sure 100% Rachel Maddow is autistic. Do you know why? Because I listened to this one podcast called Prosecuting Donald Trump. Sorry, I'm not trying to be political. I really get anxious talking about this because I'm not trying to be divisive or whatever, and I'm not trying to like convince anybody of the way that I think about things. But I'm just saying, I was listening to like a recent episode in like MSNBC, which by the way, I'm pretty sure all of them at MSNBC are probably autistic. They put on this little event where like they were having like conversations and people bought tickets and showed up, and like Rachel Maddow actually shared some information, and like you know how hard it is to like she must be a good masker because it's so hard to find out personal stuff about her, but like she shared stuff that made me think like she doesn't like to just sit around doing nothing, so she's never wasting time. She doesn't know how to talk to people, so she tries to avoid them and just does the stuff that interests her anyways, you know, like her research and stuff. That bitch is autistic. How come these people don't know yet? And by the way, Maya Bialik, please, somebody tell her. Okay, sorry. And then, so like this new cat we have, Phil, you know, I'm just gonna say he's the perfect cat. I hope he doesn't die tomorrow. Not I said that, knock on wood. That's not real. But anyways, he's the perfect little cat. So first of all, he has this smudge around his mouth. It's like this little circle of orange. But from a distance, it just looks like he just like ate some dirt or something. So it's like this pure half white cat, half orange with beautiful patterns, just with a dirty little mouth. And it just looks so cute. And he has social skills like you wouldn't believe. Um, I'm talking about him like he's a real person or something. But anyways, like he is a carpet muncher, and I know what carpet munchers are. I'm not being dirty like that. I just mean he's our vacuum cleaner because we have one cat that likes to eat the scraps of food off the floor that the other cats just it falls from their mouth because they don't want to have to go digging in the bowl for food because I have like a little ball in the middle of the bowl so they have to eat around the bowl or the ball because if they don't, then they'll just eat a whole bunch of food at once and then throw up every single time. Anybody out there that has cats that gorge on food, take like a toy ball, like, you know, make sure you clean them or like rotate them. Take like just one of those plastic round cat toy things. Put it in the middle of the bowl and then make them eat around the thing because they'll eat slower. It'll go through their digestive thing or their little esophagus or what the fuck ever quicker or easier. And they won't just like have it all pile up and like it comes out real quick. Because cats just really throw up too easily. But anyways, so he does that. So we got another vacuum cleaner. He respects the social hierarchy within the cat family. Very respectful. He tries to go after them a couple times to see where they're at with their feelings toward him, but he's pretty respectful. He loves to talk. Him and I have great conversations. Um, I also need to say that like he came with worms. I've never had any cat that has come with worms before. This is a new experience. I could talk for like an hour on what the fuck this is like. I'm just gonna say kitten worm poop smells fucking disgusting. It smells so gross. The whole house has smelled like poop up until yesterday because the poop smells so bad from that kitten because of his worms that, you know, the dewormer is trying to work them out of his system. It just stinks so bad that, like, a really anxious cat, Caesar, doesn't want to use the litter box anymore. So he started taking shits out in, like, the carpet in front of the sink. And I'm like, not this again, because he's had bathroom problems in the past with, like, other cats. And so, like, then it's just like it just smells like shit all the time. And me and Alicia made this verbal agreement months ago where we agreed she's responsible for anything poop related except for scooping, because I'll do that. And I'm responsible for cleaning up any of the barf from cats. So She spent a good hour yesterday cleaning those litter boxes and, just making them so they don't smell bad anymore. But I had a mini meltdown over shit. I knew it was a mini meltdown because she was starting to look at me like, "What does that look like? I wonder how big of a meltdown this one's gonna be." And I was just yelling about how I was like, "This smells like shit in this house all the time. Smells like poop. I'm so tired of smelling like shit. That's why I live in my room. It smells good in my room." Like, just ridiculous. And she's like, and then I was like, "And Caesar's pooping again outside of the litter box and he knows better." And Alicia's like, "He's just scared. And I know this. But like, I'm tired of smelling poop." God. I don't like it. It's gross. So I had a meltdown over poop. And I think that's all I'm gonna say about Phil. You're probably wondering what the point of this episode was, and I feel like the point is gonna be shorter than the other stuff I talked about. There's no point to this episode. I got on here to share where am I at what time? Oh, I made you listen to that for like 16 minutes. I'm sorry. Um there's a reason why I've been doing one episode a week because I think that's all I can manage right now. And like my talking, I have not want like it's been hard for me to talk this week. And then like I wanted to do an episode and like so this is as good as it gets. I'm sorry that my brain and my mouth are not connecting right. But I had this thought a few days ago, and it's not like it was a new thought. I've had this in the back of my mind ever since I found out that I'm autistic. And that thought is, if I had known about my autism like years ago, like even before I met my wife, Alicia, I would not have gotten married or moved in with her. Um, because and I was like, I don't know why this just popped into it was just something I started thinking about all of a sudden the other day. And it just was like I sat there and it was so interesting that I was thinking about this that I started picturing like what would my life be like if like I hadn't gotten married to her and I was living on my own. Because before that, this is gonna sound like I'm an adult teenager, but, like, I got to do what I wanted, when I wanted. It's not like I was doing anything I shouldn't be doing, but call this OCD, call this, like, autism, I don't know what you wanna call this, but when you live by yourself I should stop going all over the place. I'm glad that, like, we live together now, but, like, when you live by yourself, how do I don't know how to word this properly, but the issues that I had to work on would not have come to the surface had I not married Alicia, started living with her, all that stuff. Because you bring another person into the mix, and then they do things that your brain doesn't quite like, and then you're having to figure out, like, why does this bother me so much? Like, what's the big deal? And, it's a good thing, I think, to live with somebody, but maybe not. I don't know. My point is, I told her the other day, I told her, I said, "Don't take this the wrong way. I'm very glad we live together now. Like, I honestly am. I don't want to not live with her. But I know for a fact that if I knew about my autism, we wouldn't have moved in." And I don't know how she quite took that. And I was like, I think I don't remember what I said to end it. I was like, maybe I didn't say that right. I don't know. We have to revisit that at some point. But I was just trying to communicate, like, how much I enjoyed living with her. And that was not the way to do it. Uh, So, but yeah, I kind of miss living on my own sometimes. I had nobody else to think about except for myself and my cats. Speaking of which, one's trying to come in. Um, you have to push harder on the door because they know what I'm saying. But I had nobody to interrupt my routines. Um, I had nobody to check in with. Everything in the house had a place because I put it there. Like, I even hated living near people, and, like, I'm so slow with, like, my public journals this year, like, I'm trying to get this one out about how I was as a tenant because I was a horrible tenant, just horrible. And I include all of those stories that are going to embarrass myself, but I did not like living around people. So I remember how I was with them. I'm gonna just save some of those stories for maybe another time, or just I'll stick them in the journal or whatever. But like, if I was bad living around people, like, no wonder I started struggling. Like early on in our relationship, Alicia and I started struggling because it's like you have to share your space and you have to consider somebody else. And it's just, the human thing to do, but, I was very rigid the way that I lived, and I didn't even realize it until, like, recently, but yeah, like, I was very routine oriented, nobody interrupted my routines, and, like, when we were living together and we got up around the same time as each other, like, my morning routine was very important to me, and I remember, and I know she does because I brought this up the other day. Like, she would just knock on the door as I was brushing my teeth and she would have to use the bathroom. And we only have the one bathroom in the house. And I would get so pissed because it's like, this is my bathroom time. I'm brushing my teeth. Can you not wait like 2 or 3 more minutes? And no, like, she's the kind of person that when she's got to go to the bathroom, she has got to go. You better move. And this was like at least 3 times a week. And I felt bad. I feel so bad thinking about it. But it's kind of funny, but for her, it wasn't because it's like she probably was afraid to come to the bathroom door and knock on it and be like, hey, bitch, I need to go to the bathroom. But like, I remember I immediately, I went into this weird rage inside my head whenever I got interrupted during my morning routine all those years ago. Now I know why. I mean, I definitely do not do that now, but like I was so like I did not like interruptions. I was not a nice person when something happened during the day that I did not plan on. Like, I just don't know how I got to this point in my life, if I'm honest. How did I get this far? I don't know. And I give her all the credit because I was not a good person to live with myself because, and shit, like, I don't know if knowing I was like, if I knew about the autism as we were living together, like, I don't know, like, would things have happened? I don't know. I can play the what if game for like ever, Remember those choose your own adventure books when you were a kid? I do that all the time. Just push the door with your paws. I have to go soon. Um, this cat. Hey, here you go. Sorry about the unprofessionalism. I'm just gonna go ahead and end this. This whole episode was really just supposed to be about the fact that like I just realized that I would never have lived with anybody ever had I known about my autism before meeting Alicia. Like I never would have. I would have maybe had a relationship, but not shared my space and not wanted to move in. Like I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have even done this episode, but is there anybody else out there that can you do you live by yourself? And what is your thoughts of like living with somebody? If you hear that toy, sorry, it's the cat. Um, do you think that you'll always live by yourself? Do you think that like you would find it easy to like make compromises like when you're living with another human being? This is stuff I never actually thought about before I moved in, like Alicia and I moved in together. Um, I never thought about this stuff. So I think that if I had given it thought, I would just stay to myself. But then it's like, I don't know. I know there's plenty of people who do this. Like, there's this one autistic guy. I think it's Johnny Knapp is his name. The guy that does the uh, Autistic as Fuck Out Loud podcast. I want to say that, like, he's in his 70s and him and his wife live, like, down the street from each other or something. Like, they each have their own houses. And I remember when I first heard that a couple years ago, I thought, "How strange. How does that work?" And now, after having learned what I have about autism, I can understand how that can work. And I don't want that now. I like my life now. But I also wonder, what would it be like to be 41 and living on my own, knowing that I'm autistic? Like, I don't know. Does any of this make sense? Is there anybody that regrets, like, I don't know, living with somebody? If you do, I won't tell them that you said that. You can tell me. Um, I'm just gonna go ahead and end this now. Um, and I'm gonna go ahead and publish it because I see it's like 25 minutes long. And thank you for listening. There were plenty of points to this episode. I hope you were able to like find them all. Please email me. Um, I really would like to know about this, would you like, now that you know you're autistic and if you live by yourself, would you still want to live with somebody knowing how maybe how specific you are about the way that you live maybe? Does that make sense? Because I'm very curious about this. And I'm also curious to hear from the people, like I just said, that like maybe you kind of regret it. What's that like? Okay. Uh Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for the emails that I get. Thank you for finding me on Instagram and over on Substack. I'm also on LinkedIn, Reddit, and Quora. I don't know what I'm doing over there. Um, just posting articles. That's really all I know how to do on those platforms. But, come and say hi. I would like to meet you, please. And hopefully this was helpful. Okay. Thank you. Goodbye.